Good day, YouTubers, and thank you for tuning in to the day. I saw a very different video on YouTube. This time, I'm going to be looking back at some of my videos that I tend to upload on YouTube, and I'm going to be using the YouTube Analytics tool to actually see how some of my more recent videos, particularly the ones that have been released from like last year, I think it was, and also this year as well, but also videos that have been like the most viewed since like 2019, and that's somehow very much something because it's the sort of thing that I'm trying to think. you know so many things of like that YouTube has made me relatively comfortable, yet at the same time it has been a very tough and also tiring, tediously sort of job. I don't know what to really say, hey, but obviously it can be quite tedious when videos take long to upload. Tiring, I suppose. Hey, it's another, but I think I said it twice, obviously, somehow. But yes, I'll look at some of my most viewed videos more specifically, and I'm not really great at speaking at my actual English though, but I am at the same time too whenever I need to. But of course, it's obvious as it sounds. I always commonly speak English. Of course, yes, I can speak other languages too, but hey. Let's keep it relevant to what I've got in screen here, because this is very important, and it also plays a very big role by, let's just say, digging a giant bunny rabbit hole and finding out what has been going on ever since the last 5 years. I have to say it's about 5 or 6 years now. So often that, in the way I make videos on YouTube, it has been very, very interesting of late. And it really has. And I'm actually looking at some of my previous videos that somehow I've made. I've made some of the videos were quite short. Some videos were pretty short, but managed to gather a lot of views. Okay, so hopefully I might as well see what happened over the last years and such. It's somehow one of the greatest bits I've made, somehow a little bit concisive at times, and I'm gonna pretty much analyze every single video, well, every most viewed video on YouTube, and see how good or bad they have actually performed. And yeah, it's going to be quite interesting in seeing how my videos on YouTube are going to be like when they've been analyzed by the way on how my videos have been performed, by the way the YouTube really seems to play games sometimes with me, because YouTube is great as a video hub sort of website thing, but it's not always that great, because I often think about the algorithm systems and the flagging and also the demonetization bot that has been around for such time now, ever since like the last 5 or 6 years ago, which has really destroyed what it really used to be a very nice and harmonious site. But then, it seemingly started to make things, well, a little bit different, don't you think? Well, I certainly see it as somehow different as this sounds. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and show you some of my videos, which have been like one of the most viewed ones on my YouTube channel, and the ones I think which have been straightforward, somehow one of the best. And I mean, quite a lot of some of my videos which have been very relatively popular, in particular those which are very popular for quite some time now, like over about 2 to 3 years, 4, 5 years ago, or maybe 6 years ago, if lucky, if that's pretty much, if you're lucky, that being said. Almost feel like I'm just slurring, but I'm not. But I'll get into that subject later on about the YouTube community guidelines. It's a very complex but also very dedicated subject to really talk about. I'm just staring at the screen here just in case I want to try and analyze every single video that has been like the most viewed videos on my YouTube channels, one of the most viewed videos on YouTube, and somehow it gives us a great amount of visualities and how my YouTube channel has been affected in the way YouTube treats my videos, and in the way trends come up and down. Trends come and go. That's the old saying, hey. So enough random talk. I'm going to show you what the bar charts, no, what the line charts and the bar charts will have to say here. Okay, here's one of my most viewed videos. This is the Sydney New Year's Eve fireworks, midnight fireworks display video that I uploaded back then. It has actually clocked up, and looking back at some of my videos, if I click on manage videos, yeah, I can't believe this, guys. I feel like I'm jumping into a great big deep bunny rabbit hole of some of my videos that have been uploaded during the time when I was working on my channel here. I might probably come and talk about my few gripes and changes about the channel banner and the watermark, of course, the channel icon. I feel like I need to have some very significant changes to my channel banner because I feel like it's not really that relevant for me anymore. Oops, sorry, there's some of the featured channels that I've just subscribed to and recommendations, but I don't often touch them because it's like spamming, isn't it? And going back to the Sydney New Year's Eve fireworks display video that I did back then in 2021 and 2022, at first it gathered about 279 views, then it went down. It's pretty much the nutshell whenever I make videos like that on my YouTube channel. And then came another resurgence that happened on, of course, yes, the 31st of December, but that wasn't very much enough. And then it started to come back just a tiny bit of it on the 1st of January 2024, not the 31st of January 2024. Strange enough, I just can't believe how many views some of these videos have picked up. But yeah, it's interesting. It really does relate onto how trendy it was on its initial first, it's very much a thing. Like when a video is uploaded on its first initial release date, it often tends to pick up a lot depending on the trend or what I talk about, be it Christmas or Chinese New Year. And in fact, there's another one here. This is the London New Year's Day video, of course. That actually gained a lot of views, but not so much enough compared to like the Sydney one, because that came later, way before that came after Sydney, of course. And of course, yes, that came way before like New York actually had the New Year's Eve fireworks display and that ball drop at Times Square. But it doesn't matter. We've got the London New Year's Day and New Year's Eve fireworks display. At first it picked up about 29 views, and then it just suddenly went to sleep. It just went itself, put into bed. It was almost like as if these videos were no longer going to get popular. And that's it. As years go by, the video just, the bar chart just slouches. And strangely enough, there's none on the following 2 years. Bloody hell. And here's another one. This is one I never actually expected on, which is this one here, which is my trip, 24th February 2024. That's actually my trip to the RSPB Samuel Reserve of me feeding birds. For some reason, luckily enough, I've got a very genuine audience. That's why my views have started to clock up upwards and then downwards. But then there's another increase and then a decrease. And I think that's pretty much the consistency of what I've got on what I've made so far on my YouTube channel here. Very recent but fairly good video content. The next one is this Chinese New Year 2024 Dragon Year Lion Dance video that I did when I was at Chinatown. That was relatively high, just at the cusp of the Chinese New Year festival, which lasted for about 15 days. And there you go. It suddenly started to slouch down, and then it started to heal all its way like so, and then coming nearly next to zero on March, but then it started to pick up a few more views. Very interesting. And then you've also got this is probably one of my unexpected favorites. Well, not really one of my favorites, but certainly one of the best videos I produced, in my opinion, though, because obviously the Scooby-Doo one, it was an initial request that I first uploaded it onto YouTube, but amazingly, I actually shared it with some of my people on YouTube, and blimey, because of how old it is, and it's about to turn 6 years old, bloody hell, I think this video has really gathered so many views. And I want to see how many views some of my most viewed videos I've done. Okay, about 414. That is a lot of views on that Scooby-Doo one, you can definitely see why the Scooby-Doo video has actually seen a very large amount of views. There's actually quite a lot of views. You can definitely see in how consistent the increases and decreases that I've got on my YouTube channel. It's somehow very interestingly strange. I did not actually expect the video to go relatively high in terms of how popular it is. And in terms of the way on how my videos are done, like, so it's interesting, like, whenever I think about why my video has actually been created, like, since uploading on its lifetime, interestingly, it's so interesting to see a bit of a concise balance between an increase and then a depressive slouch, as in decreasing, you know what I mean? It's interesting, somehow that on its initial upload, it didn't have that many views, but then it started to average just a bit of about, oh my god, 5 views on October of 2022. I don't know why, but maybe I was just watching just a lot of it. It's actually quite amazing. Somehow it really gained the center of attention, or one of them, of course. And one of the other videos which actually gained much more further attention was this Thomas the Tank Engine Trackmaster Silent Dual toy review video that I did back then in 2018, and it was such a great video that there was no talking, there was no voiceover behind it. It was all just footage, all by me, with just the wee video watermark in it, I think. It was filmed via a high quality phone, I think it was. Way before I had a tablet. I think I had an iPad before, but I didn't use an iPad somehow because it was a bit different. There were no video editing softwares here. I couldn't even edit videos on the other computer I used. So I did manage to analyze some of my videos on my previous content on my previous side, and the way I do stuff on YouTube these days. It's a bit different, isn't it? Looking back onto my YouTube channel today, it looks nothing like what you have seen so far in like 5-6 years ago. It seems so different in the way different characters have been incorporating my YouTube channel for quite some time now. Anyways, that was amazing. And then I've also made this MS Paint Thomas and Friends rip off, because I used to be a bit of a WoW fan and a bit of a Thomas and Friends fan, because I used to make lots and lots of stuff that were related to Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. But I was also a Pokemon fan, and I actually crossed Ash Ketchum with Thomas the Tank Engine. Ash from Pokemon and Thomas the Tank. So I actually crossed these two characters and made it an amalgamation, whether to scare the crap out of Game Freak or whoever is behind Thomas and Friends. And here's another video that was uploaded on New Year's Day and New Year's Eve. You can see how trendy it is on that side. Look at the line chart and see how trendy. You can definitely see how many views is picked up. You can have peaks at one end and then there's droughts at another. Yeah, it's pretty much the way on how YouTube works. It's pretty much the epitome on how videos work on YouTube. Somehow that's one thing I can really describe. It's quite a perfect balance, but it's something I really do not understand. Who knows? As you were saying, like with my channel being created in 2018, and with some channels being created as early as 2005 or 2006 or 2007. Oops, sorry about that. Just jerked the tablet. What's popular today won't be popular in the future. Just as a great big grand reminder. Of course, things aren't always looking that bright, as obvious as it sounds. And I'm going to show you the Google, I'll just say community guidelines. I'm going to straightforward have a look at that. The YouTube community guidelines on Google/YouTube. And I'm going to straightforward have a look at what YouTube's policies are like. I can definitely tell you all about the different community guidelines that they actually have of what I'm actually reading about. That's something. Anyways, I'm going to straightforward talk about them right now. It's been quite a while that my YouTube channel hasn't been really related to monetization and demonetization, and obviously I do know that's the sort of thing like there's lots and lots of stuff I could really read, but I can just read anything in yellow. Okay, I don't really need to read that because we've already know that. Okay, and here's it's a bit of a very different piece of information whenever I look at the YouTube guidelines, and they're in the way to help assist people if they're going to be making videos on YouTube in order to make money. And let me just read this reading here. It says, we simplify the choices for ad formats that are shown before or after your video to improve creator revenue. We remove the individual ad choices for pre-roll, post-roll, skippable, and non-skippable ads. Now, when you turn on ads for new long-form videos, we show your viewers pre-roll, post-roll, skippable, or non-skippable ads when appropriate. This change makes the recommended best practice to turn on all ad formats the standard for everyone. Okay, your choices for mid-roll ads haven't changed. We also retain your ad choices for existing long-form videos unless you change the monetization settings. That's interesting. All content uploaded to YouTube must comply with both our community guidelines and our AdSense Google Publisher policy. Okay, if your content violates our community guidelines, it may be reviewed from YouTube. If you see violative content, you can report it. There's a lot of things which are quite harmful and very non-advertiser friendly, and something that would cause demonetization. There's a lot of different stuff like harmful and dangerous acts. Okay, I can definitely look at what I can just talk about. It's content that promotes harmful or dangerous acts resulting in serious physical, emotional, or psychological injury that is not suitable for advertising. Hateful content or derogatory content says content that incites hatred against, promotes discrimination of despises or humiliates an individual or group of people that is not suitable for advertising. Content as satire or comedy may be exempt, stating that your comedic intent is not sufficient and that content may still not be suitable for advertising. A bit of a tyrannical debate, okay? Weird, isn't it? It's something that, I don't know what to really say. There's a lot of stuff that's going around here, of course. There's so many things. I mean, I could definitely see all kinds of stuff, really. Just a whole bunch of reading. Somehow, and all your sensitive events, controversial issues and sensitive events. Topics are, controversial issues are topics that might be unsettling for viewers, which are often the result of human tragedy. This policy applies even if the content is purely commentary or contains no graphic imagery. Okay. Controversial issues include child abuse, adult sexual abuse, sexual harassment, self-harm, suicide, eating disorders, domestic abuse, abortion, and euthanasia. Okay, I don't often do stuff like that, as obviously it sounds. A sensitive event is an event or development that creates significant risks to Google's abilities. I can't talk already now. Blimey out. To provide high quality, relevant information and ground truth, and to produce insensitive or exploitative content in prominent and monetized features. During a sensitive event, we may take a variety of actions to address these risks. Okay, I feel like there could be some sort of weird get out of jail clause. Maybe there could be one of those things inside of either one of those things I'm about to read or more, of course. Okay, in examples of sensitive events like civil emergencies, natural disasters, public health emergencies, terrorism and related activities, conflict or mass acts of violence. This policy applies even if the content contains no graphic imagery. It's the sort of thing you often see on the news or on television, isn't it? Weird, isn't it? Drugs and dangerous acts. Let me just see. Drugs and drug-related content. Content that promotes or features the sale, use, or abuse of illegal drugs or regulated legal drugs or substances, or content that promotes other dangerous products is not suitable for advertising. Okay, that makes sense now. Okay, inappropriate language. Content that contains profanity or vulgarity at the start or throughout the majority of the video may not be suitable for advertising. Occasional use of profanity, such as in music videos, backing tracks, or intro-outro music, / of course, or music played in the background won't necessarily result in your video being deemed unsuitable for advertising. And of course, yes, I can definitely say some of my awkwardisms, my Australianisms, some people try and interpret that as swearing. I know I've actually spoken about that. I know there's one word that starts with C, but of course, yes, that's a very common word in Australia. That one word that starts with C, but some people would tend to probably think of it as swearing. Okay, inappropriate use of family entertainment and content for children and families. Now that's something I've actually have been thinking about. Content that is made for kids must be appropriate for a family audience in order to monetize on YouTube. This meant it must follow YouTube's quality principles for kids and family content and our program policies. It's interesting whenever I think about that, that actually relates to a whole bunch of things. I could definitely think about the inappropriate use of family entertainment characters involving violent sexual behavior or sexual or inappropriate behavior. Well, I don't think I did anything, naughty, to all of my characters. I don't think I did anything to either Tom Ash or Scooby-Doo. I'm pretty sure I haven't. That's the whole thing. Let me just vlog here before I should continue in this video. Of course, one thing I can really talk about, this whole made for kids thing that YouTube really has got on its own mind, and what I can really say about YouTube of today, it really has reacted towards the phenomenon, what was called ElsaGate. We had some really radically, very graphic and vile content that was meant to be made for kids, but then we also had some very adult themes involved with them. It's basically an amalgamation of the two themes onto it, which is kind of like black comedy but for kids, which in a sense is kind of like a get out of jail clause for parents and stuff. It's like, whenever I've got imagine if I had a family, if I was a father and I had a mother and also I had some children and stuff. I had my siblings, my sons, my daughters, etc., etc. Of course, yes, if I was going to be looking at a video of Elsa from Frozen and chasing Spider-Man and, doing things in the pool which aren't really nice, of course, yes, I can definitely say that if that child was watching it, I would probably say that's pretty much a very repetitive and very impulsive and very repulsive thing to really think about. And yes, somehow, whenever I think about it, we're actually punished for the horrendous acts that we have done on YouTube so far to our children, but also the company itself and ourselves. In fact, humanity really has changed the fabric of YouTube as time has flown by due to several different events or certain things that have been happening, I suppose, years. I mean, it's so crazy to talk about YouTube today. But anyways, I could definitely set up, I can pretty much see a kid typing, just basically tapping on a certain video that contains something very kiddie related but also has some adult themes on it. At first glance, it often tends to be very fluffy and lighthearted at the start, but then the video turns viral, and then all of a sudden there'll be lots and lots of kids shouting and screaming and yelling right in front of the screen there towards them, and probably the children would probably sort of nagging and say, "God, can we watch this again?" And obviously the parents would say, "No, you're going to be pretty much leading to such a dangerous act." But kids won't. I'd say, don't watch this. This is harmful for you. This will provoke badness. This will be bad for your health, or this will be bad for your mind. That's something that kids would pretty much really struggle to understand in recent years now. And for me, the ElsaGate phenomenon is pretty much like a great big attention spam data block, which has become a complete and utter nuisance for today's stupid YouTube, and the damage it really has caused in the way YouTube works these days. And I really love to know different stories on how the YouTube networks has really changed over time in a sense. Of course, let me just continue back to the advertiser, just say friendly content guidelines I was talking about. But I'm not actually going to read them all because of the fact that I feel like I'm losing a bit of time. And yeah, I've got to catch up with a live stream from Twitch, I think it is. Stuart Ashens is in it. Oh, what's this here? Incendiary and demeaning. Oh, that's weird. I thought incendiary meant firebomb. That's weird. Content that is gratuitously... What does that mean? Gratuitously? How do I pronounce that word, Google? Okay.
Gratuitously.
Gratuitously. Okay, I'll get back to reading. I'm off to do a bloody jump cut because the speaker is actually about to fall away. The screen's about to change and the speaker's about to fall. Well, I feel like I just want to stop making videos on YouTube because of how awful I talk. Gratuitously, incendiary, inflammatory, or demeaning may not be suitable for advertising. I think incendiary means to spark up something, to stir up something very harmful, like stirring up a hornet's nest. Okay, this policy falls under hateful and derogatory content in the self-certification questionnaire in YouTube Studio, so make sure that you check that one as well for detailed guidance. And of course, there's sexual suggestive content. Okay, that's very not appropriate, of course. Okay, I don't often do that. Adult content like that. That content that features highly sexualized content in the title or thumbnail, or content that features highly sexualized themes is not suitable for advertising. And there are limited exceptions for non-graphic sexual education videos and music videos. This policy does not. It does include both real and computer-generated visuals, stating comedic intent does not make highly sexualized content suitable for advertising. And then there's violence, of course. Content where the focal point is on blood, violence, or injury when presented without other content is not suitable for advertising. If you're sharing violent content in a news, educational, artistic, or documentary content, that additional content is important. For example, if a video provides authoritative news reporting on a violent event in a journalistic content, it may be eligible for monetization. Violence in unedited video gameplay is generally acceptable for advertising, but montages where gratuitous, I can't even say the word properly, violence is the focal point is not. All games, whether realistic or non-realistic, are in scope of this policy. I hardly agree with that. Maybe I don't. I really don't know. Well, I could tell you what, after reading some of those guidelines on YouTube, I feel like I must have gone off the rails. Maybe I could pretty much buy a clown nose, and I'd probably say a clown made the whole video. Obviously, I'm so glad that my videos haven't been really affected by the yellow dollar syndrome, but my videos aren't really monetized. Now, obviously, I don't have that many subscribers on YouTube, and that's why I seemingly took inspiration from various YouTubers to create certain videos on YouTube. And I probably think back to that Elsagate phenomenon. Well, that's something, when I think about it, we are yet again punished for the very impulsive and repulsive and repetitive but also reckless acts that we have done. It's nothing more than just as worse as an inside job. Anyways, I think that's probably about it in this video, talking about the YouTube video analytics of some of my most viewed videos on my channel. Please give this video a like, subscribe for more videos in the future, and as always, thanks so much for watching, and bye for now, as always, on my channel.